What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast. Here today, back in the SEC, number 7 Ole Miss versus the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge. The line is even. It's minus 110 odds for both of them. This game is rightfully so about as even as it gets. Now, when you look at these two teams, you're going to see 7-0 Ole Miss, ranked number 7. Everybody, I'm assuming a lot of people are going to bet on Ole Miss. I'm not completely convinced on Ole Miss because of the turnover problems. I feel like they've either exploded or sputtered on offense with really no in between. And if you look at LSU, really the game that a lot of people are going to go off of is, well, they just went into the swamp and beat Florida. Personally, not a huge fan of Florida. I think they suck. I don't think they're a good football team at all. On the flip side of that, you look at that Auburn game. You went to Auburn and struggled. Now, the thing is, in that Auburn game, you kind of let them hang around too much. Your offense straight up sucked. I think I just saw something. Yeah, Jaden Daniels was 8 for 20 for 80 yards. If you get that performance against Ole Miss, you don't stand a chance. The difference is the LSU defense. You forced 4 turnovers out of Auburn that game. That's what kept you so close and so in that game. You had no right winning that game, but the defense showed up and won the game for you. Same with Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Will Levis is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Ole Miss defense gave him hell. They didn't let them run the ball that great. You controlled that football game. Your offense puts up 22 points and you win. Same thing with LSU against Auburn. Your offense puts up 21 and you win. That's what you have to do in the SEC. Now, Ole Miss's offense put up 52 and 48, so 100 points combined the last 2 weeks, 50 points per game. LSU goes on the road, 45 points scored in a win against Florida. Again, don't think Florida's that great, but the Tennessee game is what catches my eye with LSU. You got them at home, and when you look at the score, it's 40-13. But the difference maker to me in that game, LSU went for it on 4th down 3 times in the first half, failed on all 3, and Tennessee converted that into 13 points for them. So you take those away, it's a 27-13 football game. Or maybe you convert 2 of those 3 4th downs, you keep the drives moving, maybe you score a few more points. Who knows? It's a what-if game. We can play what-if all day. This game, I mean, the offenses are about as even as it gets. I mean, when I tell you this game is even, this game is even. And if it was in Vaught Hemingway, I may lean Ole Miss. But with it being in Baton Rouge, it being 2:30 kickoff, the primetime CBS game, that's pretty Tiger-esque if you ask me. The defenses are both giving up 330 yards allowed. Offenses are both putting up about 450 plus. Ole Miss is over 500. To me, it's just too many turnovers for Ole Miss. Jackson Darts threw 6 touchdowns or 6 interceptions in 7 games. Daniels has only thrown 1. Now, he was awful against Auburn, 8 for 20. That's not going to win you anything. But he's ran the ball 403 yards and 6 touchdowns, and that's including sacks. The LSU defense has played pretty well. Limited Florida to 35, Auburn to 17, Mississippi State to 16. Now it's been proven that Mississippi State's not a good road team. We saw that against Kentucky last week. So that could be ultimately Mississippi State's demise. But LSU, traditionally, they're good at home. We know they're good at home. Ole Miss, this is their true first road test. You went to Vanderbilt where you were probably had more fans in that stadium than they did. You went to Georgia Tech and you beat the hell out of them 42-0. And you didn't even want to run up the score because you didn't want Collins to get fired. Like, that's just true friendship at Lane Kiffin. You could have beat them by 70. But just looking at it, gut feeling, it's Monday morning, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to have to go with LSU in the upset. And it's not an upset point spread wise. It's an upset because it's 5-2 over 7-0. I just haven't seen enough out of Ole Miss to feel confident to say they're going to win this football game, and that may change by Friday as I dive deeper into it. I'm sure Josh Pate will cover this one tomorrow or Thursday. Friday Night Lines, may impact me just a little bit. It's going to be a really good football game, and LSU has been trending upwards since that Auburn game. I'm not 40-13, when you see that L in Tennessee column, it's not a 40-13 football game. That was a 3-possession game that turned the tide in the first half, and Tennessee scored to open the second half, and then that game was over. LSU, huge win against Florida last weekend. Ole Miss, a good win against Auburn. Auburn came in close, but that was probably the best game Auburn's played all season. Now that Robbie Ashford's in, Auburn's a better football team. Tank ran for freaking 180, 160, something like that. If LSU can get a ground game going, you may look at LSU running all over Ole Miss, and Ole Miss just never really having the football, and Jackson Dart not being able to throw for, say he's averaging about 200 yards per game. I don't think that's going to be the case on Saturday. I think if you can force Ole Miss to throw the football, make Jackson Dart turn the ball over, throw some interceptions, you could very well win this football game. I think LSU's defense is really good enough to win them the game. You get them at home. I think I'm going to have to go with the Tigers. But let me know in the comment section how you guys see this one panning out. A little shorter preview. I've got some other videos I've already put out today. Texas, Oklahoma State, UCLA, Oregon, Clemson, Syracuse. So if you're a fan of college football and not just the SEC, really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 300. We'll hit 250 today. I hope. I'm banking on that. So if we're not at 250, we're at 249. Be my 250th subscriber. I'd really appreciate it. But let me know who you got, guys, winning this game. Let me know the score. Even I'm thinking, give you a score prediction. I'll go 31-27 LSU. That's what I'm going with. I think if you win the game, I don't think you score a lot of points. Over under is set at 64. I like the under. And unless either team puts up a hell of a lot of points, I'm gonna have to lean under. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next week.